I've rewinded football back to 2010 and joined an Arsenal team who finished 12 points behind the champions in real life. So I was shocked when I saw the board's expectations, because they want me to win the Premier League and the Champions League within 3 seasons, or else I'll be sacked. So it's time to bring Arsenal back to the top of European football and win them their first Premier League since the Invincible season. So here we are with the first season, and you can already see that it's not a bad squad, as we already have players like Van Persie, Fabregas, and Nasri at our disposal. But overall, there's definitely some room for improvement, especially that defense. We need to get some better players in. I'm also going to swap the tactics around, since I don't think this team suits a 4-4-2. So I've switched us into a 4-3-3 holding to give us that defensive stability and use our wingers a bit more efficiently. But looking at the team, we definitely need to get some new players in. Chesney's obviously going to grow into a good player, but we need someone who's good now. And I think the same can be said about Jack Wilshere as well. So I think for this first season, the focus will be on clearing some of the deadwood and getting a new goalkeeper, center back, and center mid into the team. So I started going through the team and transfer listing anyone who wasn't a part of my plans. But in the 2000s and 2010s, Arsenal was known for selling their best players to their rivals. So to keep it realistic, we have to accept every single offer that comes from Man United, Man City, or Chelsea during this video. So we've received some offers for players we're willing to sell, but as you can see, we've also received an offer from Man United for Bakary Sagna. And because of the rules, we have to sell him. But I don't want to swap deal for Darren Fletcher, so we are going to negotiate with them. There we go. 42.5 million would be more like it. We'll take it. 42.5 million pounds, but we do now need a new right back. And at this rate, we're going to lose our whole squad, because now Manchester City have come in for Koscielny. 23.5 million pounds, and we're going to have to accept. But we have now cleared out a good portion of the squad, and we've got 192 million pounds available. So let's make some signings of our own. So for our first signing, we've instantly decided to replace Bakary Sagna with a young 20-year-old Kyle Walker. He's only 76 rated, but he's only going to grow as the years go on. 20 million pounds is a bargain. So for center back, there wasn't much option in this first year, so I've decided to bring back a 35-year-old Sol Campbell to help us out for a season or two until we find a permanent solution. Now for the goalkeeper, we could have gone with someone more experienced like Buffon or Lloris, but I decided to prioritize youth again, so we've signed David De Gea, who's 19 at this point, for 35 million pounds. And lastly, I wanted to get a big name in for the center mid, so we've decided to splurge 60 million pounds on a 20-year-old Toni Kroos. So this is how the team is looking going into the first season, as long as the big clubs don't come in for any more of our players. And it may not be good enough yet to win a Premier League or a Champions League, but our youngsters are only going to grow as the seasons go on, so within a few years, we should be ready to win all the trophies. But for now, let's sim to January and see where we are. All right, we've made it to January 1st, so let's see how we're doing in the league. What? Are my eyes deceiving me? We're 8th in the Premier League, 13 points behind top of the league Chelsea. Are we doing badly in the Champions League as well? No, we're actually doing quite well in the Champions League. 4th, and we haven't lost any games yet, so we're doing good in the Champions League. But something's gone wrong in the Premier League, because 30 points from 19 games is nowhere near where we need to be. Very weird, because the team is developing well. Kroos up to an 86, Walker up to an 80, De Gea 82 rated. This team should be far higher than 8th in the league. But as you can see, our form did pick up at the end of December with some big wins. So I'm going to trust this team and make no more signings for this season. We're going to sim straight to the end and see where we finish. So we've made it to the end of the season, and let's just hope that we've actually secured Champions League football for next year. Thank God. We'll take 3rd, 72 points considering where we were halfway through. We will take that. Surprising, by the way, that United haven't even gotten top 4. How did we do in the other competitions, though? FA Cup? Oh, we won it! Go on the boys. Very, very nice. A trophy in the first season. Carabao Cup, we also got far. Semi-finals before Blackpool knocked us out. And then the Champions League was about what I expected. Round of 16, Juventus, they're a better team than us, so they knocked us out. And the team have grown nicely as well. Top 4 and a trophy in season 1, on to season 2. So we're here, it's season 2, and I do think that this season we need to focus on winning at least one of the Premier League or Champions League. Otherwise, we're going to have to win them both in season 3, which is a lot of pressure for us. And looking at the team, I don't actually think we need to bring that many players in, as long as the big clubs stay away from our star players. But I think a center back and a CDM are the 2 positions that we need to focus on. The rest of the team should be good enough to win us a trophy. So I've decided to go with Blaise Matuidi, who's 24 years old at this stage, 86 rated, a very good signing, 86 million pounds we've paid. So let's get him into that starting 11. That does now mean that we have Song, Diaby, and Denilson as backup CDMs, which we won't need. So we're going to be selling 2 of these to fund our center back. So we've got an offer here for Abu Dhabi, 34 million pounds by Aston Villa. We've also got 31 million pounds by Spurs, but we'll just go and reject that one real quick. But we'll accept the offer by Villa and get him gone. And with that Diaby money, we were able to dip into the market and get ourselves Thiago Silva in a deal worth 70 million pounds. And with that, I think we're good for our business in this summer. And this is the team that we're going to be taking into season 2. A very, very strong team, if I do say so myself. So let's sim halfway through the season and see where we are. And take a look at that. 22 games into the league season, we sit top of the league with 51 points, 2 points clear of yeah, anyway, but we sit top of the league, so it's looking good. As for the Champions League, our other objective, it's not looking good, Rev. We sit 23rd with 7 points. We're definitely not out of it yet, but it's not been a good start to our Champions League campaign. Let's just hope that we can pick that up and at least go through to the next phase. Unfortunately, it's not all good news, because it never is with Arsenal, is it? Manchester City have come in for Gael Clichy, and as the rules state, we're gonna have to sell him. Just like in real life, the traitor is gonna go to Man City. That is pain. And since we don't actually have the budget to replace Clichy, we're gonna have to play Kieran Gibbs at left back, who, to be fair to him, is 81 rated, so I think he'll do a job. What we're also gonna do is take Kyle Walker out of the starting 11. I know I signed him, but Abui is higher rated than him, so we're gonna get him back in at right back. And as you can see, Szczesny is also higher rated than De Gea, so we're also gonna get Szczesny in at goal, with that being 2 of our signings not even in the starting 11 anymore. But let's sim to the end of the season, and let's just hope that we can pick up one of our 2 trophies that we need to win. So I've simmed to the final match day, and with 1 game to go, we sit level on points with Man City and have a 1 goal better goal difference. Now we're going to play against Aston Villa at home, who sit 7th, but even if we win, the championship won't be guaranteed. So this is it. Will we at least uphold our part of the bargain? Yes, we will. 3-1 win. Come on. And City drew against Crystal Palace. That's objective number 1 done. 82 points, and we've won the Premier League. And as you can see, just for the fun of it, we've gone and picked up a second FA Cup just because we can. But in that 3rd season, all eyes need to be on the Champions League, because we got knocked out in the round of 16 again, this time by Benfica. So we've made it to the 3rd and final season, and this is the season that we have to win the Champions League, or else we fail to hit our target. And looking at the team, I think our attack is good, our midfield is good, and apart from left back, our defense is good as well. So we need to get a left back to replace Gael Clichy, who left in the winter last window. But as long as the big clubs don't come in for any of our players, that's the only signing we'll make for this season. And you just knew that it was gonna happen, didn't you? Manchester United have come in for Toni Kroos. They've offered us 72 million plus a 21-year-old Thiago. Now we don't need him, so we're gonna negotiate for a full money deal, but this is gutting. We're gonna have to get a new midfielder in. So we've agreed to sell him for 110 million pounds, but we now need a new midfielder and a new left back. And after a bit of scouting, we set our eyes on Felipe Luis and Arturo Vidal, signing the 2 players for a combined 70 million pounds, meaning that we now have all of our business done and are ready to get into the 3rd and final season. So this is our team going into season 3, and if I don't win the Champions League with this, I deserve to get the sack. But before we get into the actual season, let's play this Community Shield game against Man City just to see where we are as a team. Here we go. Man City at Wembley. Oh, that's not a good start to the season. Let's just pray that we pick up form. We're going to sim straight to the end of the season and see if we can get ourselves into the Champions League final. So we've simmed all the way to the start of May, and as you can see, we found ourselves in the Champions League semi-final, but we've lost the first leg at home against Juventus 2-1. So we are now away from home against one of the best clubs in the world, and we have to win this game to keep the dream alive. But we've put a good squad together. I've got faith in the boys. Here we go. All on the line. Can we pull through? Come on, 4-2 win. We're in the Champions League final. Get in there. And as you can see, it's going to be Chelsea who face us in the Champions League final. But before we get into the Champions League final, let's find out if we were able to retain the Premier League. Which we were. I mean, was it ever in doubt? Look who's in charge. Arsene Wenger who? Pep Guardiola where? Do you know what I mean? It's Giro TF16 at the wheel. And so it all comes down to this. Chelsea in the Champions League final. If we win, we complete our objective and bring the Champions League to Arsenal for the first time ever. If we lose, we get sacked. But I've got faith in the boys. They'll do this. Come on. Champions League final. 3, 2, 1. Yes! Come on! I've won the Champions League. I'm the best manager on the planet. Have a good night.